Welcome to Spiritual and Cosmic Lady D, the podcast where the mystical meets the everyday. I'm your host, Lady D, psychic, medium, astrologer, and spiritual guide and cosmic truth teller. Each week, we'll dive into real talk about living in a spiritual life in a human world, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the messy, and the in-between. From psychic insights and astrology breakdowns to soulful chats and cosmic truths. This is your sacred space to awaken, expand, and keep it 100% real. So grab your crystals, open your heart, and let's get spiritual and cosmic. Hello and welcome back to Spiritual and Cosmic Lady D, the podcast where we explore the mythical and magical and the messages from beyond. I'm your host, Lady D. I'm so excited to have you here for episode 2. Today, we're diving into the world of mediumship, what it means to connect to those who have crossed over, how spirit communicates with us, and the signs our loved ones might be sending us from the other side. Whether you're a developing medium, a curious soul, or someone looking for comfort, this episode is for you. I'll also be sharing a few personal stories, some tips of tuning in, and how you can start to strengthen your connection with spirit. So grab a cuppa, take a breath, and let's open the door to the other side with love, light, and a little bit of magic. So today's episode, yes, it's all about mediumship and spirits. So I'm going to share with you what I believe from my guides, my spirit team, what they have shown me and what they tell me as well, what the other side is like and kind of what happens to the soul and what to look out for and even how to connect to your loved ones. Also the myths about some other readers they might tell you to sort of maybe to cover up things or to how it is myths at the end of the day. So number one, for me, I am not religious, so just sharing that with you. I don't believe in God, Jesus, Bible. I'm not in about man-made religion. I'm all about spirit, and what I get from spirit teaches us so many things. When you start doing this job and you start reading for people and people's loved ones, that's where you learn so much about what happens on the other side. So when it did actually take a while for mediumship to come in. It's a heavier, denser energy than psychic. So psychic energy, when you're tuning in to it, and also you're developing, when you first start doing this work, you're communicating to your guides. That's where you're getting information from. So when you're doing psychic things or psychic readings, I am getting information from my guides, and it's a different energy than mediumship where I'm communicating to someone's loved ones. So for me, I don't physically see bodies. I can see shadows. Sometimes I find when people are talking very passionate about what they believe in or a certain topic, I'll start to see their aura. Or sometimes I just see like energy around them and they sort of glow. And then from there, I'll start to see like a sort of a white sort of shadow around that, on the side of that person. So for me, that's why I call it the other side. I don't call it heaven. I don't call it hell. I call it the other side. I don't believe in heaven or hell. I believe that every soul has a place in this world because I do astrology. So I can see how we are all linked, good or bad, we are all linked. So for me, once the soul has done its purpose in this life, whether it be good or bad, it all goes to the same place. Now, when I'm connecting to someone's loved ones, the way that I have come to understand this is that, because I believe in past lives, and it's all energy. We are all energy. We are all connected, and even with your loved ones. I am connecting to the energy of that soul that was here for this lifetime. Because when you think about it, and if you believe in reincarnation, a soul could have had 20 lifetimes. So if I start connecting to a lifetime that your grandmother had back in 1855, you're not going to recognize that person. So I am connecting to the energy of the soul that was here in this lifetime that you know or that you've heard about. I say that you heard about because there are times when I have brought in a loved one or a loved one has come into the reading and my client will say, that sounds, and I'll say like, it's a pop, grandma, whatever the loved one may be. And the client will say, that sounds a lot like my pop, but I haven't met him. And I'll say, it doesn't matter. They're still your soul family. And your parents know their parents. So there are other people that are still living here that know of these people. So therefore, they're being taught. The soul never dies. So therefore, it is coming into the reading because you could still validate something from that, and they're still around you. Now, when I get clients that come to me seeking guidance, and I always feel like future predictions, I like to go to my guides, because even though your loved ones are there and they may say, you're going to get a job. I once, many years ago, went to this a fabulous medium. She's lives around me in my area, and she does little shows, but she's a fabulous medium. And my grandfather came through and said that, she's going to get a pay rise, or she's going to get that promotion. She really deserves it. Now, I didn't actually get one at that particular job. And I've come to realize that, we're bringing in that soul's or that loved one's personality, and it's like what they would want for you. It may not be what's actually going to happen. It's what they want for you. Because when we're talking about spirit and what they can and can't see, I see it as like we're in a block of units. So if we're on the ground level, you've got your loved ones would be on, say, level 1 or level 2. If you're on the bottom, the next level up, be your loved ones. And as you go up again, that would be your guides. So your guides can see more. Yeah, your guides walk with you. They are with you. They are also there to teach you, support you. But I feel like because they can see more, they are with you when you develop your whole soul contract, because I do believe in soul contracts. And, when we also, good or bad, when we meet these people who cross over, they've also fulfilled their contract with you. There is some sort of soul contract that you have with your loved ones that have passed over. I also talk to pets. So even today, I was on my radio show. I all of a sudden and I see these things in my third eye. So for me, I see the shadows. I see my third eye. I see a picture in my mind. So we say in your third eye. I also feel things. Sometimes I may smell food. I will hear phrases, sentences. I will get personalities. So I get all those things. I just can't physically see them. But when I was doing my radio show today, I sort of beside me, I could see my third eye, a cat with a halo around it. And the cat told me, said, I have passed over and I'm this lady's cat. And I told her, you can actually go and see this today's radio show, my A1R radio show, which I share on my social media page. Or you can go to the A1R Facebook page or Instagram to view my show. And the cat, brought through its personality, was even showing me that it was protective of this lady and didn't like a man, and was showing me a man that was quite sort of solid build, and the cat was sitting in front of this lady, protecting her from this man. And it was all correct. Now, I don't know why this is, but you'll find, or I have found when I've wanted to get mediumship readings, because sometimes, I like to get readings myself, it's hard to find a medium that can talk to animals. I know that the way that I can, because I get the animals the same as people. So if you're someone who loves your pets and you want to hear from them, I'll find that mediums will sort of go through sort of like bullet points, but not really get the essence or the personality. But I feel like there's nothing better when you get a loved one in and they banter with you, they joke with you, and they talk to you. It's just really, it feels really good. Now, some of the myths that I'm going to share with you is things that I've heard of other mediums, things that aren't true. So the first myth I'm going to share, now this happened from a medium or person who said they were a medium that was showing one of my stalls at a fair. Now, a man had lost his child, and my friend who helps me takes the bookings was there. She's also lost a child, so she could understand what this man was going through. She wasn't the reader, by the way. But the reader said to this man, oh no, this child hasn't passed over, it's in the in-between. Now, when your loved one does pass over, or they do pass away, sorry, they do go pass over. They do go to the other side, as I call it. There is no in between. They don't get stuck. They do go over. So rest assured that your loved ones will always cross over. They'll sometimes come in a reading and tell me they like being here, or, that they don't want to leave, but they still have crossed over. That they're just, they're here to say. So that is the first myth. If someone tells you that your loved one has not crossed over or they're in the in-between, that is a myth. It is not true. Your loved ones are not in pain when they cross over either. They are completely fine. So that is myth number one that I wanted to talk about. Now, also where I've heard mediums say if they pick up your loved one's illnesses, that if they don't tell you and share with you what the illness is that they're picking up, that it stays with them. That is not true. You're not going to, if your loved one had, I don't know, a heart attack or some other illness, and if that medium doesn't pick it up or picks it up and doesn't tell you, they are not going to go home with a heart attack or, a pain in their arm, leg. The spirit goes. As soon as the spirit is left, as soon as the reading is finished, the spirit goes. They're not going home with the medium. They're not going to be taunting her. So I have heard of that. That is another myth. I have also heard, it's like the first one, but where a medium has said that they are stuck here, that their loved ones are stuck here. They haven't, crossed over again. Myth, not true. Also, if a medium comes and says to you, I had a friend who went to a well-known medium, and they had said, your father's come through with a beard, and he didn't have a beard when he was here. So to sort of cover up, the medium was like, they're rocking something new. They're trying out a beard. Now, a loved one, if they haven't worn a beard here, they are not going to wear a beard, to come through, because they're going to come through so that you recognize that person, whether it be their looks, how they are, the essence. They are going to come through with that. They're not going to come through with rainbow-colored hair if they did not have rainbow-colored hair when they were here. Another myth that I have, where I've seen a medium that went to their show, and they said that they were the only medium that could move spirit over to the other side, or to heaven, they called it, and that is why they were touring New South Wales, Australia, because they're the only ones that can do it. That is complete wrong. As I said before, spirit will cross over. They are met with their loved ones. So the way that I see this is that I call it the angel of death. So there's an angel that is also there when you pass over, and that actually angel helps you transition from this, from this world over to the other side, and your loved ones are there to meet you. Quite often when I do my mediumship readings, I'll see a loved one come through, and it's like they're sitting on a bus, and they'll have a seat beside them, and I'll sort of tap the seat, and I'll say, oh, I'm waiting for so-and-so to come over. So yeah, again, no medium is going to be there, or the only one medium in the world that's going to be able to cross people over. Not true. So the soul, has this journey that it does, and I've heard mediums talk about, past lives, and about the soul, and this healing. That is something I've been thinking about when they say, healing, the soul has to heal from whatever it's done. And I've heard the scenario used as in Hitler and Mother Teresa, where Hitler did so many bad things. Yes, he did, but he would need a longer healing period than, say, Mother Teresa. If you believe that. Again, I'm not religious, so, I don't believe in any religious stuff. It's man-made, which I'll talk about in another episode. So my question is with that is, we're all connected. We all have a purpose, good or bad. then what if that soul has done its purpose for this lifetime? Now, there may be healing involved, but that soul has fulfilled a contract in what it's done. Even someone that commits suicide, we all have end dates. So even if someone's committing suicide, where yes, it's tragedy, but again, there's an end date with that. So they're completing that lifetime. I don't believe that a soul is going to be here. I don't believe that anyone has the power either to change your path. But if that soul has completed its life, where it's then passed over, why would it need a lot of healing? Because as I said, we are all connected. As an example of this, if someone else's passing, and of course the person goes, your loved one's passed over, you go into mourning, but that leads you, as a hypothetical, that leads you to go into we'll say a wife. A wife has lost her husband. She then goes and finds herself a group of women who've also lost their husbands. She makes good friends with one of the ladies there. They become best friends. Now, if her husband hadn't passed over, she would not have gone, that would not have led her to go to that group, supportive group, where she had met their best friend. We are all connected, good or bad. And I mean, look, my life has not been perfect. And I once went to a medium when I had someone pass over. He wasn't my loved one, but he was not a very nice person. And I went to see if I could get an apology because, we always get spirit come through and you get, oh, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. And I was curious to see whether or not this spirit would apologize to me from some of the things that I know I'd been through with this person. And he said, no, there was no apology because as far as that soul or that spirit was concerned, that they had fulfilled their duty in their soul contract. Fair enough. And once in class we were talking about you might not hear an apology. Didn't believe that, and I actually experienced that when I gave a reading to a lady. She wanted me to connect to her parents, and her parents were drug addicts. So both her parents died of a drug overdose. And I remember I brought in, I think it was her mum, and there was no apology. The mum didn't want to be a parent. The mum had no remorse and there was no sorry. And I felt really, really bad for the client. And I really apologized, and I told her. And she was okay with it. She said, she had a wonderful life with her adoptive parents, but she just wanted to connect to her mum and her dad, but she was fine. So it is interesting, when I do these mediumship readings and how spirit all works. We get signs from our loved ones. And I always say for people who can't feel their loved ones, to just sit in a quiet space, close your eyes and ask for them to come forward. Even if your guides, if you want to delve into this work and you want to get started with this work, the best thing to do that you can start doing is simply talking to your guides. The thing is about building your connection to spirit, whether it be your guides are your ones you get information from. If you want to feel your loved ones, talk to them, ask them to come forward, ask for signs, and be specific on what you want. If you want to see their initial on a car, maybe ask them, give them some time to make it happen. Say by the end of the week, I want to see your initials on a number plate, or I just want to see your initials, by the end of the week. Well, I want to see 3 8s, but 3 8s. So 3 8 8 8 3 times. You'll get your signs if you ask for them and how you want them. Be specific. And as you build up your awareness, you will feel it. You'll feel energy. I get clients say, what energy? And I have done activities where I've asked them, to sit there and to ask for their loved ones to come through. And they have felt their loved ones. I've explained what the energy is going to feel like, go through what that is, and they do feel it. Even for myself, sometimes in my bed, I'll even feel my cats who have passed away jump on my bed. But spirit works in amazing ways. And but I know for me, I love doing what I do, and I love being able to connect to spirit, and I love the banter. Sometimes I do turn up before the reading. I had a reading a few weeks ago, and this man in my third eye looked like Geppetto, Pinocchio's dad, and he was talking to me. And then when the client came on, and the man was still there talking to me, and he said he was her father, and I told her what I was getting, and it was her father. Now, also remember, if you are going to get a reading, whether it be from me or another medium, make sure, they're giving you the evidence that you know that person is. But I must remember too, so for me, I'm not good with names, so I'm not good with names that people passed over. So you find your strengths and not, like I love food, so I will smell food because I love food. I have a thing for food. Um, Names, not so much with names, not very good with names, but I will hear auntie, or I will hear pop, nan, things like that. I'll go mum's side. So I do hear things like that as well. So just remember those things. And it's all a journey. As I said, I always say the soul doesn't end, is always going to begin. Sometimes we have some of the readings that I have, it's amazing. Once I had a client who was in Brisbane, it was on Zoom, and her dad was wanted a reading from their mum. Her mum had passed away. Her dad was I feel like Philippines, I think it was. And then here I'm sitting in Sydney giving them a reading from this lady who'd passed over. Another thing too, there was no, even I say we learn from spirit. I've had a few times where spirits come through to me and told me there's no God. That's something that I always believe in, that there's no God, there's no man-made religion. And even the spirits come through to me once in that same reading, actually, where she said to me that she was religious, and she showed me that she was Catholic, she was religious. And she said, I've changed now, and they will change too, because there's no religion here. So as I say, you learn so much from spirit itself. It is amazing work that I do. So if you are getting a mediumship reading as well, I want to give another tip here. Be open. If you're closed off, sometimes it can be hard even for the loved one to come through. If you're open, and of course, invite your loved ones into the reading. Like for me, I always invite loved ones in the reading and ask them to work with me and to talk to me very loudly and clearly, and tell them what I want before the reading, usually not before. If you're coming for a reading with someone, for the medium, invite your loved ones to the reading, but also be open to who's going to come through. It could be your next door neighbor that lived by 20 years ago. It could also be, who you want to come through, your mum, dad, your loved ones. It could your pets. If the medium hasn't brought it in, they can always call that person in as well and ask to connect to that energy. But just be open about who comes through, just think who that could be. And you can record, like for me, I let my clients record the session. They can listen to it again afterwards if they can't remember. So that sometimes we say psychic amnesia, they can't remember. For me too, I do pick up people who are still living. So often, sometimes when you got people's loved ones who've got who have got Alzheimer's or dementia, I will pick them up like they have already passed over. For me, they are like the in-between, if you want to say. It's like their soul's kind of, well, not their soul, but it's like I see them sort of trapped, but I will get messages from them, and it's like that they aren't here, even though they are still here. Their body's physically here. So that is what I want to talk about today. Share with me your experiences, what you've had with different mediums, different loved ones, and if you've got different questions on connection. But if you do want to feel your loved ones, simply talk to them, ask for signs, and you would definitely get those signs. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Spiritual and Cosmic with Lady D. I hope today's chat on mediumship has helped you feel more connected, a little more curious, and even a little bit more comfortable. Remember, spirit is always around us, guiding, loving, and whispering in the quiet moments. Trust what you feel. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow, leave a review, or share it with a friend who might need a little spiritual uplift. And if you've had your own signs or spirit encounters, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your heart open, your energy high, and your spirit strong, sending love, light, and cosmic vibes your way. I'm Lady D, and you're listening to Spiritual and Cosmic.